listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Let's go back to our template. Yesterday, we were discussing the template part. Here we go back to the template section here. And here we have the template for Neil. Open it. I think documents and the FFP questionnaires, all those things are here for you, right? Today we're going to create the task. Task, when we say task is nothing, but it's a process. Whatever process you are following, like for example, in the process, like there's a step, every company follows a particular. When you are doing a sourcing of any item, you need to follow a particular process. That process, you map it here via creating the task. You can create the task from this actions button actions, and you can see this phase to do task notification. Thus these tasks keep in key from here. First of all, we need to create a phase. Here, what we are doing is we are creating a phase in here. Let me put it like phase 1, which is for identifying potential suppliers. This is the one phase. This is the phase 1 we are taking. Under this phase, we can have multiple to-do tasks. You can create the to-do task within this way, like here create to-do task, notification task as well task and all, or you can create from here, both ways. You can create a to-do task notification task from this. Here I'm going to create under this like our to-do task. To do, task is prepare. Prepare the list of potential suppliers. This is the task that you are creating. You can have the owner of this task, someone apart from the project owner. You can create the owner like this task is, who's the owner of this task. You can define any other person also. Then you have the observer. You can add your manager as an observer also. You can add any person if you want to. You can add an observer also. Due date. If you want to put a due date in here, that you can also put a due date after the parent phase starts. And is milestone. Milestone is like you have achieved something in the project. We are not keeping it as that way. Then you have required whether you want to create this task a mandatory task or an optional task. Required means if you would require years, then it means it become a mandatory task that you need to perform this task. If you put no, then this task will be there, but it's an optional task. This is how you create a task here. I'm going to create a task in here. You are creating phases and then within that you are creating tasks. This part of template itself, isn't it? Yes, absolutely. This is the template task. Basically what happening is you are defining a particular process in here. This process all the end users in your company needs to follow. That is thing that you are defining for them. Now if you see this is the task, we have created it. You can associate this task with any document. Basically you need, for example, what you can do is you can have a Word format in which you have already designed, like how to maintain the name of the supplier, contact number, email ID, then brief description about those things. It's a template in a Word format. That template, you need to fill it up. Prepare the list is nothing, but that template needs to be filled up in here. If you click in here, you have this option to associate document. You see here, click on this associate document, then you can see this RF, these all the documents which are there in the template. It's coming here. For example, I'm adding this test document here. This document is nothing but, like you can see, like it's a supplier list that you need to prepare. Once you do that, here you can see this under this document. This test document is coming in front of it. Now another task. I'm going to create another task. Let me create a task which is an approval task. Approval task. Approval task in the sense like whatever the list, once you have this finalized, this like potential supplier, you want to send that list to a particular team like supplier management team or vendor master team or your manager or procurement head, that these are the potential suppliers with which we are going to do the RF. You need an approval of that. How you set up? You need to create an approval task. Remember, like from a tricky question perspective, like if someone can ask from my interview perspective, can you create approval task without a document? The answer is no. If you see this, if I'm clicking here, I'm not getting option to create any task for approval. If I click in here, no approval task. But when I go for the document section here, if I click on this document here, you can see create new task. Here is the approval task. This is a kind of a tricky question. Can someone ask? Without a document, you cannot create an approval task. Now once I'm going to create an approval task on this one, and the task will automatically reflect under this task. I'm going to create here. Let's see this as document here. I'm going to create an approval task. Click on the approval task. Here, you can just maintain the description here. Approval task for supplier list. This is the one you can provide any information in here. If you want to, then here comes your approval process. From Ariba perspective, how you set up an approval flow in the Ariba. Here you can see this allow auto approval. Now you can select this one, excellent system of the one, if you want to. And here is the approval process. Parallel, serial and custom. I hope like we discussed right. We created this. We discussed approval process yesterday. Right. We discussed here how it is parallel and serial. All those inside. You can again, you can set up these things and you can put any person's name in here. For example, I'm going to giving my name in here and I'm going to click. Here, you can see this under the task. This approval is came in here. You can drag and drop. As you can see this, if I close this phase, this task is outside of this phase. Now if I go now, I can simply drag and drop and it will come inside it. I'm moving it up and down. Now you can see if I close it. This is within this one phase. This is how you can create the phases. After this phase, for example, you have done this first phase. Then after that, you want to create another phase, phase 2, which is 4. The approval task you created with document only we can create. What is the significance of that? Like a document in that document, what you would have like a checks to be carried out, etc. or just some list of suppliers and some information? Is it some document should be there? Basically what happens is if you have multiple documents that you need to take approval from our respective teams when you are doing the sourcing project. All those documents you can take the approval by creating this approval task. List of supplier also can be a document to be approved. In that case, you just upload the document. Exactly. This test document is nothing but like list of the you mentioned here 10 supplier names, what is their email address and all basic details. And you can mention like these are the potential suppliers and that document you upload here. And then on that document, you can set up the approval flow rather than you need to email them like vendor master team or someone to send it manually. You can set up in here and create an approval task. And anything can be there, like sourcing strategy can be there, like before going for RFP, and all you have created some sourcing strategy. That is strategy. If you want to get it approved by a senior management, or you can simply add that a strategy document here. Word file a PDF file. Any file like any document accepts Ariba and then set up the approval flow on that and send it to the respective people. 1, 2 or 3 people like sequentially. You can create the seal that we discussed yesterday. That way you send to them and these people will approve it. Everything will be getting recorded within the Ariba system. No need to, like later on, go here and there to find who approved it, what approved, what was the discussion and all. If someone rejects or declines, everything will get recorded here in the system. That is a benefit from the Ariba perspective that you do not need to go outside of this project. Everything, all the process, every activity will get recorded in here. Now same way. Now we have created first task. Now this is the second task where you need to create RFP and publish. First, if I create a to do task in here, what I'm going to put it here is create RFP, sorry. This is how I'm going to create it. Now again, in this case, if you see this is the task coming in here. I need to associate the documents to create RFP, like which document I need to associate RFP document, right? This is the RFP document, simply coming here, click. And you can see this. Now the RFP document will get associated and use this task. Create RFP. This is the document. Previously, in the first phase, that was a document, test document associated with both of this, and here the create RFP document will get associated. You can get another task, which is the approval task, like before publishing the RFP. For example, you're like someone junior resources only creates the RFP in the company. On top of that, you always say that your manager should approve it before it goes for the suppliers for publish. After publishing, right? Before that, the manager check that whether you have created the right RFP, have not make any mistake in there. Any rules and everything are correctly set up or not. He will look into it. He will review that. He will check that. And then when she approves, then it will be get published. That is the document. That is a task. Is approval for publishing. Here, if you see this documents and once you click on this RFP document here, you can have approval for published tasks. You click on this approval to publish tasks automatically to come in there in the task section. Here you can see our tool for published task in here. You can add here your manager name approvers like supervisor manager. Like I'm adding my name as of now because you want to show that. Otherwise, you can add your manager name, production manager name, supervisor name, any person's name that you think was a relevant person. Add here in the approval. Here you can see this under the task. Now this is approval for publisher. RFP came in here. Here I'm going to again drag and drop here. I'm going to put it up here. This is up in here. This is how you can again set up this one. Sorry, approval for publish. Approval for publish is. For example, what did make how come that publish was appearing earlier? It was only approved. This. There are different things. This is a properly approval. But when you have an event, there's a defined task. This is an approval is a defined task. Approval for published is a defined. Now you can see this. It's not coming already. This is RFP, right? It's already. We have created an approval. Now it's not coming in here because we have already created for approval for publish. It's a design. This approval for publish is a design task already created in the Ariba. If you want to set up this task, you can do it like this way. This is how you can create. Here you can have multiple phases. In actual world, when the company works, and all in the real world, they can have like here 7 phases, 10 phases. Each phases can contain 7 to 8 steps. This is the process generally the company follows. And based on that, you can perform this. Let me add one more task action to do task. Task. As option, I'm going to show you the optional task there. This is the task, and I'm going to put a required loop. This is an optional task. Click. Now it's coming in here. I'm going to put a drag and drop within this one. It looks a little better. Now you can see this. If I click this cursor here, this is coming as optional task written there. If I'm putting my cursor, it's an optional task, right? Whereas if you see this, it's simply coming as task template, right? How you differentiate? You can see this red asterisk mark is not there on this optional task. It's not mandatory. That is how red asterisk marks are the mandatory ones. And this task is an optional one. It's not mandatory. This is how you prepare your task in here. Whatever the task you want to create, you can create like this way. Now, apart from this one, there's a team. You can create the team in here. This team, the groups that you're going to create here. For example, actions edit, and you're going to create a hop group. These groups are like known as there are 2 types of groups. One is a project group. Another is your system groups. This is the group that we are creating. Here is a project group. Difference is like, this is like only applicable to this template. Whereas the standard groups are like available everywhere. Like it's like those are standard groups. You can use them anywhere. And like when you are creating the up workflow. But these groups and all those things will be used only for this template. When you are creating this template, this project, then only you will be able to use it. That is a difference between a project group, which is like smaller level, where the system groups, which are on a bigger level. Whatever the conditions we created, all conditions will come in here. If we have created any conditions, or conditions will come in here. Whenever you need to create an approval flow, when you ever want to set up an approval flow, in Ariba, the standard 3 types of approval flow: parallel, serial, and custom. parallel like this with the way saying you will receive. Like, for example, there are 3 people. For example, let's show it here in the system. I'm clicking here. This is called as node. Approval flow has 4 sections that you need to configure. First is this approval process diagram. Then you have approval rule editor. Then you have condition, and then you have action. These are the 4 sections, the approval flow that you need to configure, you need to set up. For example, the first is this one, Fifi sit. This box is known as node. This is how it comes like here. At this is nothing but a serial approval. Like first, this node will need to approve it. Then after approving this, it will come to this person. Then after coming to this person it will come. For example, how you can give it like, here I'm going to put right up to 1. I'm going to change it. Approve to. This is a serial approval. This is a serial approval. Like approval, one needs to approve first. Once he will approve, then only it will move to the 2. Once 2 approved, then it will move to the 3. Before completing, like the if approval 1 is still not approved, second and third even will not receive any notification and they will not be able to approve this one. This is known as serial approval. Details below for each box. Yes, I'll explain that one first. I'm going to explain you the serial parallel. This is serial. Now if I delete this one, let me change this one. I'm going to show you the parallel, how you want to create a parallel one. Here click on this down arrow. Here add a parallel rule. Click in here, add a parallel rule. This is a parallel rule. In this panel rule, how it will work is when you submit the document for approval, all the 3 people will receive the approval flow. There's no dependency that one needs to approve, then only one can approve. Here simultaneously, all the 3 people can approve at the same time. This is parallel. There's no dependency on each other. Everyone needs to approve. Approve. That's what I was going to say. Everyone needs to approve to completely finish the approval. Yes. It's like they all need to approve it, but there's no dependency on each other. Anyone can approve it anytime. Now, if you mix in this one anything which is like serial, then you put it again some serial in here. Then you are putting here again some parallel in here. This is called as custom. It's a mix, like it's neither a serial exactly. It's not exactly a parallel one. It's a mix. That mix is nothing but known as custom. Custom is like where you are mixing up everything, like either it's a parallel custom somewhere, anything. This is how you are known as a custom. These are the 3 approval flows: serial, parallel and custom in the Ariba. But it's possible, isn't it, to define this complicated approval flow also? Definitely. A complicated approval flow. It's up to you how complicated you want to do it. Like there are a lot of complicated approval flows are there when you really work in, because based on the more data and conditions that you need to set up, it will work. I'm going to explain that. For example, what I'm going to do is just put it here, remove this, some of these ones. Now let's just keep these 2. I'm going to change the name for this one, approval 1. And here for this approval 2, naming convention. Under this approval rule editor, you name these boxes, these nodes. And here, in this one, you can provide any rule description. For example, here you can put like approval 1, approval. Sorry, approval 1 needs to approve. This description will be visible only in this configuration or something will be seen by the approval. No. Just for the hint, but the one that you are seeing here, this one will be visible at the user interface level. The reason that we are going to put it here. I'm going to explain here. I'm just putting here approval 2 needs to approve. This is how you set up. Now, for each node, you need to set up the conditions. The third point is the condition. Condition is the logic. Condition is nothing, but it's a logic. It's purely your expertise. How simple, how complicated an approval flow you want to create. For example, take a scenario. Someone asked you that this project, the sourcing project that we are creating, this project should be like approval 1. Approval 1 should come into the approval flow. If the sourcing project value, let's take the value, let the value of the sourcing project is more than 10,000. Like this condition. They could give you any condition, like the department is this one, or the commodity that you are selecting is this one at all. You can have any parameter, any condition on which that people will ask you to create approval flow. In this case, you take an example like if you are creating a sourcing project, then approval 1 will come into the picture or come into the approval flow. If the value of the sourcing project is more than 10,000. How you set up this condition? Here, you need to set up the condition higher under this condition tab here. Reference to a condition. We haven't created any conditions. We need to create it. Create new. Give the name. We can say like sourcing project value. Sorry, value more than 10 to K. More than 1000. Now here expression. Here you have the field match. Click on it. Select. Let me open you all the options. More fields. These are all the fields on which you can set up the approval flow. And these are coming from the sourcing project. Like header details, you will see right. When you create a sourcing project on the header like base language, base stand, company code, commodity, department category, all those things you see right. On that page are event type, end date systems, all those things you will be able to see on that page. Owner, who's the owner, payment terms, and generally, like all those lot of things are there. Which on which project reason is there, project state is there, and region is there, resource by is there. A lot of conditions are there which you can use. Based on that, you can set up the approval flow. For now, what we're going to do is baseline spend. You have seen that we have selected baseline spend only for the amount right. Here I'm going to select the baseline spend. Value should be equal to. Here you can see this like baseline spend. You can set up any condition is greater than equal to less than null between all those conditions. Here I'm going to select as is greater than baseline. Spend is greater than the value 100K. I'm going to put here 10,000. Click. Clear the condition. The condition is like this approval will come into the approval flow, will trigger this approval flow, and this approval will come into the approval flow if the value of the sourcing project baseline spender is greater than 10,000. Now here you can see this. All are true. These are the some conditions also comes in here. Any are true, none are true. If you want to create a more complicated approval, you can add something more. Here also, like here, another condition. I was going to ask whether there are multiple conditions. Yes, you can multiple conditions. Here again, for example, you go for a commodity code. Let's select this commodity coding here. Select commodity is equal to. Here I'm going to select the commodity code value here from this one, which commodity code. Let's open this commodity code in here. And if I go for the first one, only footwear. Let's select the footwear in here. Now the what condition will be coming here. Let's see. Understand this approval one. The node approval one will come into the approval flow only in case if these both the conditions will get satisfied. Because we have set up here all are true. All are true. If I set up here any are true. Here you can see any are true. Now any are true means like any one of this condition is true, the approval flow, approval 1 will come into the approval flow. It means it will. He will get notification for approval. Basically, he will be coming into the approval flow. Like not just a notification. He will be coming into the approval. One will come in the approval flow. Let me do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all are true, that both the conditions are satisfied, not just one. Both the conditions should get satisfied. I'm going to click. And here, depending on what field you select, also the option changes, isn't it? Because you selected both value fields. It was greater than, less than, etc. Suppose if you select purchasing group, for example, it's a text field. In that case, probably it will ask for some text line to be inputted there. No, that data will be selected from there only. Let's create another condition for approval. Data will be fetched, I suppose, from the respective. That will come in here. That will come in here. Here use the lookup table. That is here. Here you need to set up the lookup tables and all. I'm coming to that. It's a different context. I'm coming to in a different here. If you see this, for example, you're creating another condition. For example, for first approval condition, you have set up right. The condition was, you have seen that condition, like both the conditions coming in the like two values are there which we have said. And based on that, the approval 1 will come. Now in what condition? The approval 2 should come. In this case, I'm going to set up another condition. For example, again reference to a condition. Which kind of? Whatever the conditions we have created, we come in here. But this is a different condition. We are creating another condition. Condition for approval 2. Condition for approval 2. What condition? You want to give an example field, match again going in here, showing the all fields. Tell me any conditions you want to put up in here that in that case the approval 2 will come in the system and the approval flow. For example, for the particular purchasing group value, purchasing group, we are not using at the, you can see that right. Purchasing group, we are not using at the upstream side. That is coming from the downstream side. Here, what you can do is, let me see this. If I say here anything, Let's select the execution strategy. Just for an example like execution strategy, I'm selecting the execution strategy and is equal to select value node. If I put online source, if I select here online sourcing and I'm going to click in here, execution strategy is equal to the online sourcing, then only this approval tool will come. Right? Let me put it here in this case. Now here comes. These are the conditions we have set. Now here comes your type of the group. Which person should come into the approval through? Now we have set up the approval conditions. Now who will approve it? Here if you see this for the first one, you've seen this, I add supervised. You can add a person supervisor by default. That person will come. You have this launch approval. We generally do not use it. That is not relevant. We simply add approvals. Like when you want to add individual persons, this is also not recommended. We always suggest to create a group rather than an individual, even though in that group only one person is there. But please suggest always like suggested is to create a group. Then you have project group. This project group is nothing but the one that you are creating in the template. Here you can see this is a project group and this is a group. This is the difference. Add group means you are going to add the system groups. The system is standard defined by Ariba groups. Whereas if I select here the project group, it will only give you the option for your template group that you have created. Let me select project group in here, select in here and search more. Only these two groups are coming. These are the ones that we created at the template level. Right. Now I'm going to show you that if I select here add group, in that case what groups I will be getting. These are all the system groups like search more. And you can see these are the list coming. These are all Ariba system groups managed by Ariba and created by the Ariba system groups. Clear the difference. What is a standard group? What is a system group? What is the project groups? This is how it comes. Let's take this. In this case, I'm going to put it here, test group. Let's put project group and I'm going to add the search more and this test group. This person will come into the upload. A project test group should approve. This is one I'm going to set up. This is for which node? Second node. This is what the second node is. First node. We have already a different condition, like more than 10,000 and the commodity should be food beer, right? And in this case, who should come in here? Let's put here the procurement agent. The system group. For the first step, this is the group procurement agent. First for the procurement agent, this is system group. This is not a project group. In the second, we have selected as a what you can say, the system group. System group. Procurement agent is a system group, isn't it? Right? Right. Procurement agent is a system. You can see this add group here. I have selected add group. That's why it's coming as a system groups in here. And in the second, if I click on the second one, if you see here, it's a add project group. These are project group. That's why you have selected a project group. The meaning is for the first step. The meaning is in that system, whoever has that role, which people are there in this procurement agent group, those all will get. Those all are like approval for the first step. All the people will be there, but any one of them can approve this request. Let me do that. Understood. Here, like pay procurement agent should approve. Approve as approver 1. This is how it is. I'm mentioning in here reason of clicking done. This is the conditions we have set in here for this. Clicking. Now we have created the template. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish it. We have set up all those things. Publish, now it is active. Now exit from here. I'm going on the home page. Now for example, now you have published a template. Now someone as an end user creates a sourcing project. I'm going to create a sourcing project. Full project. Here I'm going to put SP test project for me. Right. This is how I'm going to put it. Now we need to select here the conditions based on our requirement. First of all, you can see this resource by. Sorry, this is not. We have the execution strategy. The second node will only come if we select online source. I'm going to select the online sourcing. Second is the condition is like. What was the condition? Baseline spend. The value should be more than 10,000, right? 10. I'm going to put more than 10,000. Here, like maybe I'll put 12,000. Then commodity. What was the commodity? Food beer. Right? Here I'm going to open food beer. This is the 1 second. If I select here, open it. This one, the food beer. That commodity was. Let me show you again one more time. This is just, we are selecting here, isn't it? Nothing to do with the approval, isn't it? Or was it there? I mean, this commodity was not there anywhere in the approval condition, isn't it? It was there. We have set up this condition. That's why we are selecting here. Oh, we set up footwear also. I missed that part. What I'm doing is, let me just create this. Let me just create it and let me show you one more time that sorry. We need to select the same template. What was the template of ours? Nail something template. Template for nail, right? This is the template. And now I'm going to create it. Now, if you see this, let me first show you the condition. I think you missed that. Let me go back to the templates in here one more time. And there is the template here. Template for nail. Open and the condition that we get you can see in here. Here you can see the condition SP value. Basically spend is greater than 10 and commodity also equal to footwear. Here's our execution is equal to online sourcing, and this is for the commodity and footwear. Now going back to the project that we created. Here we have SP project for nail. Perfect. Now, if I go to the task approval for suppliers, right on this one we have set up. Few tasks detail. See this both are coming in the pool flow. Now, if I change any parameter, for example, test group is coming because we have selected online sourcing, the execution strategy, right? If I gonna change that execution strategy, where's that execution study? Online sourcing. I'm going to change it to the offline sourcing. And now you will see that that second node will go up again. Going to the task, checking the approval flow, view task detail. Only one is coming. Only one is coming. Correct. Also, if you see this, whatever the condition for the first one was like, both the conditions should match right. One is that value. Another is the commodity. Let's see. Right. Let's reduce the price. Let's see whether it will work or not. I'm going to reduce the price from 10,000. I'm going to put it like 9,000 because we have kept it minimum 10,000, right? Greater than equal to 10. I'm going to reduce this value to 9,000. Again, I'm going here. Task. And here you can see the approval for supply list document coming in here. View task detail. Nothing is coming. This is how you set up the approval flow, or you want to just see the node to update like node 2 will come. How? Node 2 will come only with the execution study. That is dependent on only on the execution strategy, right? Not on the first condition. Online sourcing. Here, execution strategy coming in here and online sourcing. Oh, it will directly show second step. How? Like, whichever the condition will satisfy, the approval flow will trigger. The conditions needs to satisfy. Here I'm going to click. Here you can see test group is coming. And if I click on this test group, you can see this project. Test group should approve. This is the reason I have given in that one, right? This is how you will be able to set up the approval flow in the system. This complications you can create like multiple conditions in a one approval flow and all those things. Are there parameters based on that? You can create the approval flow as per the requirement that is coming from the client. This was a desourcing project template level. Likewise, similar fundamental will be applicable everywhere wherever you want to input approval, isn't it? Approval is similar. Even you can see like the template part is also similar. Similar task, etc. Everything is similar. Let's show you. Let me show you the same for the contract templates. We're going to start. Next is a contract, but I'm going to just show you the templates first. Like it's the same SAP. We have done the same thing. We have done here also the same thing. And again, if you're going to see here the complex contract template, if you want to copy this, you can simply copy it. Or if you want to again create it from the scratch, you can create it from the scratch also from here. Create template again. Go here in the template. Now, this time you need to create, like previously you selected sourcing project. Now we're going to go for the contract box. This procurement. Remember the full list of templates. What type of template you can create? This is a full list. This is a full list. 10 top to are there. Here, you can see this when we discuss the contract. We need to always get the contract box. This procurement go down, go for internal sales and all these things. We do not work. Supply chains perspective. We cover the procurement part contract workspace procurement. Here you can select on this and click. This is your contract. Contract workspace template for me. I'm going to click open here. Same looks incoming. Here, like initially it will. You will see here like this way. You will look a little different, right? But you need to make it enough full view. It's not a full view. Here you can see the display full view. Once you click it, everything will come here like that. Same overview documents, tasks, team conditions, advanced options, history. This is same way you need to pay the template for the contract, same way approval flow, same way conditions, and all those things you can create here for the time for the contract also. It's exactly the same way we have done for SLP and this one for the sourcing side. This is how you will be creating that for templates from this one from a contract perspective. And here we have completed our sourcing module. We will be starting now the contract management model. Contract still upstream. Now when we talk about the contract, let me explain. When we talk about the contract is a mix. Contact is a mix of upstream and downstream. When we discuss the contract part, let me explain. Here, it is mentioned in here. Let me put it in another slide. When we talk about the contract in the contract management, sorry for the spellings. Now in the contract management, there are two parts. One is upstream part, which is your contract workspace. Then you have a downstream part, that is contract terms. Sometimes people call it also compliance. This part is upstream and this part is downstream. Let me put it here downstream. And this part is upstream. This is how we differentiate the contract management. When we talk about the upstream part here, you will be creating a contract workspace that starts with CW number and there's some numeric numbers like this way. This is CW contract workspace. In this one, we generally deal with the master agreement. Then you have sub-agreement. Then you have a standalone agreement. I'm just thinking space contract. SAP also has a contract like purchase order, right? There you have slightly different maybe. Outline agreement. These things are. If you have integrated this one, these same contracts will be goes there as a star, like this one as an outline agreement. And that can we have like value contract or your rate contract. These two types of contracts you generally have in there. Time contract. This way, you can set up these things. This is from an upstream perspective. In this one, we will be discussing about the clause. And what is MA? Master agreement. Master agreement. Let me do this. Let's have create a contract here. You get the idea and tomorrow we'll continue from there. I am just creating a basic contract workspace. Create contract workspace procurement. Remember, we never go for internal or sales or something like that. We go for the contract. What's this? Procurement internal. It can be like internal company, like within the company. You can have a contract also, right? Legal entities are there, right? Here we always go for contract workspace procurement. This is your homepage of your contract. Here I'm going to put like, for example, contract for what you can say, contract for employee dresses. This is you creating a contract for our employee tasks. Here I'm going to put contact workspace. Let me put it in a proper way, like a contract workspace. We help you to remind this one. Contact space for employee risks. Now here, if you see this, the first one is coming as content name of this one. Then you have the related ID in here. This related is could be your like a sourcing project ID and all you can put it that ID in here. Then you have the copy from contract. If you have already created some contracts, you can fetch some details from that time contract also. From your old contracts, then again test project. No, we are not creating a test project baseline language English by the default one. And here comes the hierarchical type. This is the three options that I was discussing under this hierarchical type. Standalone master and sub agreement. Which one you need to pay? You can select from here. For example, in this case, let's start with the master agreement. Hierarchical type shows that which type of quantity you are getting a master agreement. Then you have the supplier, which supplier you want to select, and all. For example, I'm going to put your name here for now because we will be doing some negotiations. In that one, I want you to be part of that. Nil private limited click. This is the supplier. I've selected you now coming up value. Proposed contact amount is a value. Like if someone wants to use this, otherwise not mandatory, then we fill that contract amount. What is the com? For example, I'm going to do a contract with you, like for somewhere like 8,005, like 8, something like that. 8. Let's take a contract amount of 85,000. Then you can select the same standard commodity, which commodity you are dealing in all. Let's put all in here for now. And you can select any other information which you feel which is relevant. The region is all department, any department you want to put in all. These are like standard things, same producer project. If you are doing it before some older project, you can select that project in here and this engagement request project. If there is any engagement like these are all, if fields are not applicable to you, can make them hidden also. Like this engagement request project, this is a specific thing. If you are having working on some engagement, if it is, you're not working anything. In this case, you can simply ignore this one. It's not mandatory also. This way, you can set up the fields in here. Then here comes the agreement date. On which date you have done the agreement. Let's take like yesterday, we have done the agreement. Then this is the important term type. If you click on this, you will see the term types. These are fixed, professional, and auto-renew. These are the three term types in the Ariba. What does this mean? Just here, let me click on this, icon information. Just give a quick read of this one. I'm going to explain this also. Just give a quick read of this one. Here we have auto, renew, and perpetual. These three things are their fixed, perpetual, and auto renew. Fixed means the contract will expire on the expired date that you mentioned here in the system. Very simple. Perpetual is the one which is like never ending. We sometimes call it an evergreen contract. Like there's no expiry date for that. Like if supplier and you have an evergreen contract, perpetual contract. Like if supplier is not asking you to change anything, the price, and you are also not seeing any price change in that contract. Let it keep on going for years. Till that time, no one raises some objection. That is the perspective. Auto renew, where your contract will expire, but you can set up it will be auto renewed like 1 year or 2 years. You are seeing like 5 plus 3 plus 2 year contract, 3 plus 1 year contract, 3 plus 6 months contract, like that way. In that case, initially the contract will be for 3 years and it will be auto renew based on your performance for like 6 months or a year. That is known as auto renew. Here you create these kinds of contracts in this one. Term type. These are known as term type. Then you have the effective date. Effective date. Like you can keep it at the today's date, the one you are publishing it. And then you can set up some expirations, maybe like after a couple of months or maybe a year, based on your requirement. These are the information from a header. These are all header perspective. Same way as I mentioned in the sourcing project level here, also at the contact project, this header level, if you want to put any other extra field, you need to reach out to the SAP Ariba to get the extra field. Otherwise, whatever the fields are in here, you need to work with them only, and they will put you there. This value came from you, copied from somewhere or 85,000. No, I just mentioned here. I just entered here. If you want to put here like one leg, maybe like put one leg. You can put anything contact amount. We have put in one leg. You can put all those information here. Same way. Here you will be having the templates which you can choose. Header data doesn't have any template. It's mandatory, these things, whatever. These things are basic design. Like this is a design of SAP Ariba. Like whenever you create a contact workspace, you will find these header level on these fields, similarly everywhere in the world. There might be one or two more fields or less will be visible, but the basic architecture and basic these transformations will always be there on the front screen of any if you create a contact workspace. Now here the same way you need to select the template. Let me see this which template we can use in here. If I'm not sure which template, put something. Let me see this. If it is box contract workspace, template by Vijay. Not sure if people have changed it or not. Let me start this one. Let me see. It will come in the aligned manner. It's not aligned yet. Now it's aligned. Let me see if it is the correct one. Documents contact documents master agreement view details. This is the right one that I want to show you. This is how same. Now you created the contract. You can see the serial number is coming in here. 4280. The way that I mentioned, right? This is how the serial number creates. CDU is nothing but contact workspace. Under the overview, you see all those information. Here, if you see on this overview page, first is this overview section. Then you have the contract attribute section. This is the contract attribute section where you have set up the hierarchical type, contract amount, supplier name, agreement date. These things are known as under. This is coming under the contract attribute section. Then you have contract term attributes. term attributes like basically term is like nothing, but it's a timeline related right. Term attributes means like term type, effective date, expiration date, notifications, all about these things. These are the three sections. These sections you can edit. These section you can edit. And even the second section, that contract attributes. From here you will be publishing the contracts, publishing, putting on hold, closing, amend. All these options will be coming only in the contract attribute section. Remember this thing. Well, what was that? Those actions. Again, if you show edit attribute, review attribute, publish. Publish. You want to publish a contract, amend. You want to make any changes into the contract, put on hold. You want to put the contract on hold. Or if you have something close, you want to close a contract, or you want to create a sub agreement. Always remember here. One more thing I think I forgot to tell you, master agreement and sub agreement are like linked. Whereas standalone agreement is a separate individual. As the name says, standalone like it's an individual agreement. Whereas master and the sub agreement has a relationship like a parent-child relationship. Master agreement works as a parent, sub agreement works as a child. Each parent agreement must have a child agreement. Each child agreement must have a parent agreement. If you do not have a parent, like without a parent, you cannot create a child agreement. This is how it works. Parent can remain standalone. Yes. Parent like this is, we are creating a master agreement, right? This is a parent. I forgot to show you. Let me show you one more time. Create contract workspace procurement. I'm just in here. Now, if you see this, if I'm going to select here as a sub agreement, first of all, I'm selecting a master agreement. This is a parent one. Nothing has been asked in this case. Whereas if you see this in this section, if I select a sub agreement here, you will ask why the system to maintain the parent agreement. Again, see this again. If I'm going to change it to the master agreement, this parent agreement option will go away. It will only come in the case if you're creating a sub agreement. I'm going to create a standalone agreement. It will go away. Or if I'm selecting a master agreement, it will go away. It will not be visible. But if I select, as soon as I select a sub agreement, it will ask the standard like master agreement. Where is the master agreement? And it has to exist first of parent agreement. Then only you can create sub agreement. This is how you will be able to have the linkage between the master and sub. Same thing works in this case, and it will reflect here. Here you can see this. We have created this master agreement. In this one, no, sorry. I clicked on the template. Go back. Here you can see this master agreement coming in here, right? And this master agreement, whatever the sub agreements will be linked to this master agreement will be coming in here. You can see this sub agreement. You can see all the list in here. Under this master agreement, got it. This is how you create a contract workspace overview. Like this is the first step of contract workspace. Then you have the same task. You can define the task based on the templates. You can see these are the tasks are coming. These are coming from the template we have selected, right? Same way it is coming against our teams and all those things are coming. Approval for contract workspace. Again, you can do anything which is required and you can set up the template as per the process that you are to do it. Now, when we talk about the contract workspace in the workspace, when we talk about this contract, we do not deal in here with the line items. Remember, the contract workspace is generally being used by the companies to maintain the master agreement, to track the changes into the contract, and to chat to. You can say like to just have the overview of the contract. They do not go to the very header part. You can say this. If you see here, then we click on this document here. You can see this under this contract document. Here you have a master agreement. If you open this master agreement view details under this outline view, you will be able to see the contract, complete contract in here as a clauses. Here you can see this. This is known as a clause. Here the type, it's all coming from the template. You have the action option that you can remove. You can change. You can delete these clauses also. If I download this contract in a Word file, it will look a little simpler. But here it will be coming alike in this manner. I'm going to click in here. It's got downloaded in here. This is the master agreement. Here you can see there's some things I've been changing here, and here I'm going to put like service provider. Here you can see service provider. Services are coming in here. Service provider, it shall be agreed upon the same thing you can see in here. Print 90 and all those things also coming in here, but they are coming like misaligned. They are not aligned properly. You can see the very print 90 is coming on the very top here. These things like Word file, like you need to have some knowledge of the Word, how to manage these headings, parameters, and all those things. And then you can manage this thing. And here you can see the service, and you have this one services service provider. You can see in the document, same thing is here. Service provider resources services. It shall agree upon the during the time of term. Same thing. You can see this maintained as a it shall agree upon during the time of term. This is maintained as a class in here. Same the complete here. When you download it in a Word file, it looks a little easier to read. This is how the complete agreement comes into the picture. Insurance clause, taxes clause, workers, import duties, licenses, a lot of informations are coming. The same information is maintained here in the form of clauses. You can see these. These are the same thing being maintained here in the system as a clauses. In the notification clause in there, you have the option to change these clauses. For example, you say like this clause, whatever that is called, like this blank clause, is there right? You think like this clause is not correct. You can simply click in here and you can either delete or add a substitute. You can substitute this clause with any other clause also. For example, if I go for a substitute, it will take you to the clause library. This is nothing but known as a clause library. This is coming from this library. There are two ways. One is from the template you are maintaining there at the sum clause initially. Another is you have the clause that, if you can, where you can keep all your clauses that you want to use separately. Here, you select this for example. I'm going to use this clause, maybe like second one, and I'm going to click. Now you can see this. It got replaced. Here it is coming ad hoc from library. The rest are coming from the template. This is from the library. This library, the clause library, is on the home page. Let me show you that first, that you get the idea where it is coming from. Manager, you click on this manage option. You will see this is that clause library. Can you see it anywhere? Clause, 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 no more. Let me click on the more option. Here you can see SAP Ariba contracts. Here you have the clause library. In this clause library, you maintain that all the clauses in here. This is how you generally keep the clauses and that you can use. Basically what happens is the company generally keep multiple ways to use a clause. Either they get these clauses vetted by the legal team and then keep it here in the clause library that anyone can use. But sometimes what happens is case to case. These. Things can differ. You need to use the clause, but it's still, you need to get it validated by the legal team some of the times. But most of the times, like you can have it like a general way, like a lot of general clauses. You can get it vetted by the legal team and keep them ready here in the clause library. That when you are creating a contract, you do not need to work on something like again and again do the same thing. You can just simply use it and work on it. This is how you use the clause library, and this is how you create the contracts. This is employee addresses. This is how you can change. What basically happens is when you are working on a longer term, the contracts are like 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, right? What you do is once you make the changes, this one, you go in the action. In this one, where is that? Oh, just a second. You go into the overview here and you publish this contract. This agreement every time when you are making a changes. What happens is like basically again, I'm going to go here in the outline or outline view. For example, this print 90 is not coming correctly again, or maybe I'll just go down in here somewhere. For example, if I try to change this one service, provider control actions, substitute this one with some, this clause maybe. And I'm going to click open here. Now, again, I'm going to go to the overview and I'm going to publish this document. This is just a document publishing. What happens is, if you click on this version history now, you can see this. This is the first version draft. One class changed. Versions are getting updated, and whatever the changes are there, the system will keep on tracking them. And you can compare them. You click on this, you get the option compare with version V2 or version V3 or the first one. In a real world, this versions goes to like 50, 60, 100, 150 or maybe 200 because when you have a longer term of contract, there are a lot of changes. Keep on happening, small changes. The major headache from the company perspective is always like that. Like, who will read first of all the 10, the 105 or 100 page of agreement? Who will find out what has been discussed like 1 year before what? Where are the documents? What has been changed? Who will review all the each paper in the document? This is the real problem in the actual world. For that, this is the best part for this. You have this Ariba system here. Whatever the changes you are going to do it here, everything you will be getting this kind of changes here. And you can compare like after 50th version. You can compare the 50th version with any first version, second version, any version. This comparative version option will always be coming for you. This is how you perform your contract management practice from a contact workspace perspective. These are the things we cover majorly like. These are the things being used from the contract workspace upstream perspective. You create the agreements in there, then you use the clauses and you maintain this and you publish the contracts. Once you do all those things, you set up all those things in here, then you do the negotiation. You do the negotiation with the supplier. How you do the negotiation with the supplier? You send this agreement to the supplier after all the changes. You send this document like this is the final document. Like before draft, before this one, if you want to do negotiation with the supplier, because this is the actual contract right. You send this document to the supplier for review for approval. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.